specific job responsibilities. Of course, you can't anticipate everything, and I thought I'd give you a short story of recently Spalding opening a store in Minsk, Russia. It was a very successful store, did a considerable amount of business. At the same time, we happened to open up a league of basketball for both men and women, where we sponsored basketball teams, footwear, etc. Shortly after we opened the store was closed by the local police. You can't operate the store. Why? We're not going to tell you. Why? Poor merchandising. Why? It's your personnel. Threw us off. We couldn't anticipate what was the issue. The issue was that we had not included one of the basketball teams for the police in both the men's league and the women's league. As soon as we supplied footwear, as soon as we supplied clothing, the store opened again and we were back in business. In other words, the continual learning is you can't anticipate everything, but I believe that there's a gap today between the young leaders and the older leaders relative to tangible learning. Number two is that I have an expression that the people who worked with me are familiar with, and that's for leaders to be able to think in 360 degrees, in that of their constituency. And by that I mean not thinking linearly, but peripheral. What do I mean by that? I often find, in my experience in other companies, that the manufacturing folks have little disregard or little care for the marketing people. I find in the nonprofits I'm on, the curator and the administrators don't get together. Certainly in school environments, you have faculty and administration. And as the world becomes more complex, we have partners. You have acquisitions, you have a number of different supplier acquisitions. And so it's very often that leaders, particularly in the middle development years, don't consider the 360 degrees. They don't understand the decision making on all aspects of the business. And this is very important because before you decide what you're going to say, which we'll talk about in a minute, you have to decide who you're going to talk to. And with technology today, and with terminology today, and language today, all of the right talk, which we're going to talk about in a minute, the communication side, before that, you have to think of who it is that you're going to give the message to. And that may seem self-evident, but it always amazes me of who is not included in some of the key communication. As a result, the organization, both profitable, nonprofit and profit, are not as effective as they could be. So number two is to think